Eat your veggies.
Tonight, we're sinking our teeth into the Impossible Burger, the darling of food tech companies and the villain in many nutritionists' nightmares. What if I told you this burger was made entirely from plants, yet it sizzles, bleeds, and tastes like beef? Could a bite of science save the planet, or are we all just hungry for a good story? To understand why a bleeding veggie burger exists, we need to look at what it's replacing. Raising animals for meat devours between 1/3 of the Earth's ice-free land and roughly 1/3 of all fresh water. Cattle alone occupy about 2/3 of global agricultural land and pump out nearly half of agriculture's greenhouse gases. That's because animals lose most of the calories and protein in the plants they eat when they convert them into meat. So if we could skip the cow and build a burger from plants, we might save forests, rivers, and the climate. Enter a Stanford biochemist with an audacious mission: end animal agriculture. In 2011, Patrick Brown founded Impossible Foods and set out to recreate meat using plants. By 2016, the Impossible Burger was sizzling in restaurants. Brown's secret weapon was heme, a molecule that gives meat its iron flavor and its red color. He realized that soy plants also carry heme in their roots, so he spliced soy DNA into yeast, fermented it like beer, and harvested soy leghemoglobin, a plant-based heme identical to the stuff in animal blood, and that's why this burger bleeds, and why it doesn't taste like a veggie patty of yesteryear. Heme is an iron-rich molecule found in animal blood, but it also hides in plant root nodules. When yeast are given the soy gene and plenty of sugar, they churn out leghemoglobin. This heme binds to plant proteins and fats, unlocking that meaty flavor our brains crave. It looks like a crime scene, but the crime is against cows. Impossible Foods claims its burger uses 95% less land, 74% less water, and emits 87% less greenhouse gas than a beef patty. One study found the Impossible Burger requires 87% less water, 96% less land, generates 89% fewer greenhouse gas emissions, and causes 92% less aquatic pollution than industrial beef. When 40% of U.S. land is used to produce beef, redirecting crops from feed troughs to fermentation tanks could free up huge swaths of land for forests and carbon-storing ecosystems. But keep in mind, these numbers measure resource use from farm to factory. They don't tell us whether the burger is healthy. A burger that bleeds beet juice raised eyebrows at the FDA. In 2018, the agency gave soy leghemoglobin a no questions letter, and in 2019, it approved the ingredient as a color additive. Consumer advocates, led by the Center for Food Safety, sued, arguing the ingredient hadn't been tested long enough on animals. In 2021, the Ninth Circuit Court sided with the FDA. The judges held that the agency used the correct safety standard, that there must be convincing evidence showing no harm. They ruled the studies and data were sufficient and denied the petition. A dissenting judge worried about the lack of long-term studies, but for now, regulators consider heme safe at current levels. So what's in these burgers besides heme? A 4-ounce Impossible patty packs about 240 calories, 14 grams of fat, and 8 grams of saturated fat, along with 370 milligrams of sodium. A similar beef patty has roughly the same calories, but slightly less saturated fat and far less sodium. Turkey burgers and black bean burgers contain even less saturated fat and sodium. Saturated fat raises the risk of heart disease. Harvard Health warns that meatless burgers are heavily processed and high in saturated fat and sodium. They also note that Impossible Burgers deliver only a small fraction of the cancer-fighting compounds found in whole soy foods. Dietitians from Northwell Health explain that protein isolates in plant-based burgers are more processed than whole beans or grains. Highly processed burgers often have more sodium and saturated fat, while a homemade bean patty offers fiber, protein, and nutrients without added salt or artificial ingredients. Their advice? Read the labels, choose cleaner options, and pair your patty with plenty of vegetables. Not everyone is sold on a burger brewed like beer. Critics point to the laundry list of ingredients. the reliance on genetically engineered yeast, and the absence of long-term studies. Harvard Health notes that the Impossible Burger contains less than 8% of the beneficial isoflavones found in whole soy foods, which may diminish some health benefits. Add to this the high price tag and ongoing patent disputes, and you start to see that not all is rosy in plant burger land. But controversy often follows innovation. Remember when microwave ovens were considered dangerous? Despite the debates, Impossible Foods has enjoyed a meteoric rise. The burger debuted in upscale restaurants in 2016 and quickly landed in major fast food chains and grocery stores. The company has raised over $1 billion, rolled out plant-based sausage, pork, and chicken, and even sparred with competitors over patents. They've hired celebrity chefs and celebrities to convince both vegans and carnivores that a meatless future is possible and profitable. Will a burger alone save the world? Of course not. Skipping animals reduces land and water use dramatically, but it doesn't negate the need for climate-smart farming or diverse diets. Environmental scientists urge us to eat more legumes, grains, and vegetables and less of everything that's resource-intensive. Plant-based meat is part of a broader wave of innovation. Cultured meat grown from animal cells, algae-based proteins, and regenerative ranching. The question isn't whether the Impossible Burger is perfect, but whether it moves us toward a more sustainable plate. Maybe the real solution isn't to replace meat with engineered patties, but to rethink our relationship with food altogether. You've seen how the Impossible Burger was born in a lab, promises to slash our environmental footprint, and yet comes with its own baggage. In the end, the choice is yours. Will you bite into the future, stick with tradition, or mix it up? Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the science, controversy, and culture of the Impossible Burger, hit that subscribe button and join us next time as we uncover more mysteries from the world's most unexpected foods.